Police release first official image. Westminster terror attacker Khalid Masood. Police release first image of Westminster killer Khalid Masood and appeal for more information on the man reportedly nicknamed the Vampire by neighbors. School images of Masood are published, while his birth name is revealed as Adrian Russell Ajah. He also went by the name of Adrian Elms. Masood was reportedly on WhatsApp minutes before his rampage on Wednesday. He had a long criminal history, once stabbed a man in the face, and MI5 knew he was a terrorist sympathizer. But his neighbors saw only a quiet family man who took care of his garden. London. The Metropolitan Police has released the first official image Khalid Masood, the man behind the brutal attack on Westminster, London, on Wednesday. Masood, 52, was born in Kent, grew up in Rye, East Sussex, and had previously been investigated by MI5 over concerns relating to violent extremism. His birth name was Adrian Russell Ajah, while also called himself Adrian Elms, police said. While authorities said they were not aware he was planning Wednesday's attack, the police indicated in a statement on Thursday that he had a string of previous convictions over a 20-year period from 1982 to 2003. The married father of 3 was never convicted of any terrorism offenses. The force appealed to the public for more information on Masood, who reportedly worked as an English language teacher in Saudi Arabia in 2005. School photos and WhatsApp messages. The BBC and The Sun published other images of Masood on Friday afternoon. The photos show the attacker with his football team at secondary school in Tunbridge Wells and in a posed image with classmates. Sky News and Mail Online have also reported that Masood was active on Facebook-owned internet messaging service WhatsApp just minutes before he launched his shocking tirade on Westminster Bridge. Screenshots show he had seen his messages at 2:37 p.m. on Wednesday, just 3 minutes before he mounted the pavement in his vehicle. His messages were encrypted, but it is understood that police have seized his mobile phone. Acting Deputy Commissioner Mark Rowley said the Met is trying to determine whether he acted totally alone, was inspired by terrorist propaganda, and whether anyone might have encouraged, supported or directed him. At this point, I want to appeal specifically to the public. We remain keen to hear from anyone who knew Khalid Masood well, understands who his associates were, and can provide with information about places he has recently visited, he said on Friday. The police have not linked Masood to a terrorist organization. ISIS, the terrorist group also known as the Islamic State, ISIL, or Daesh, claimed responsibility for the attack, in which 6 people including the attacker were killed and at least 40 others were injured. ISIS did not name Masood in its statement released to Amaq, the news agency linked to the group. Masood was not named for more than 24 hours as the police investigated the attack. In the early hours of Thursday morning, the police raided 6 addresses in London and Birmingham in connection with the investigation and made 8 arrests. 2 further significant arrests were made on Thursday night. 9 people remain in custody, police said. PC Keith Palmer, a British police officer, Aisha Fraid, a Spanish-born college worker, and Kurt Cochran, an American tourist, were killed in the attack. A 4th victim, 75-year-old man Leslie Rhodes, was named on Friday morning. 2 people remain in hospital in a critical condition, 1 with life-threatening injuries. Record of convictions. In its statement, Met Police said Masood was born in Kent on Christmas Day, 1964. He was living in the West Midlands, police confirmed. The Birmingham Mail said he recently lived at a quayside address in Birmingham City. The newspaper also reported that he left a Winson Green property in December. Winson Green is an inner-city area in the west of the city of Birmingham and is near HM Prison Birmingham and City Hospital. Masood was well known to police for a string of convictions between 1983 and 2003. These included grievous bodily harm, possession of offensive weapons, and public order offences. The Times said Masood spent time in Lewes Jail in East Sussex, Ward Open Prison in West Sussex, and Wayland Prison in Norfolk. His last conviction was for possession of a knife in 2003. The Mail suggested that was a turning point for Masood. His last was for an attack in 2003, where he stabbed a 22-year-old man in the face, leaving him slumped in the driveway of a nursing home in Eastbourne. The victim was left needing cosmetic surgery after the vicious attack. He was later charged with GBH, wounding with intent and possessing an offensive weapon. It is understood he was jailed for the attack, and it is thought his indoctrination may have begun through meeting extremists while in prison. Police said he has not been convicted for any terrorism offences. In addition to his encounters with the police, Prime Minister Theresa May said he was investigated by MI5 in relation to concerns about violent extremism. A quiet, bodybuilding English teacher. Other details about Masood's life are emerging. The Times reported that Masood was born in Dartford, Kent, and was raised by a single mother in the picturesque seaside town of Rye, East Sussex. After his religious conversion, the Met Police said Masood, born Adrian Russell Ajal, went by a number of names, with Sky News also identifying him as Khalid Kaudari. He was a married father of 3, according to reports in the British press. The Westminster attacker, an alleged teacher, was never actually a qualified teacher, the Department of Education told the BBC, and apparently called himself an English tutor. A source, who met him in a professional capacity, told Sky News Masood was a big bloke, he looked like he was a bodybuilder, wouldn't want to mess with him. A neighbour described him as a quiet man. She told the Birmingham Mail that she often saw him washing his car and mowing his lawn when he lived in Quayside. Another neighbour told the Mail that he took care of his garden. Neighbour Iwana Romick, 45, said, "When I saw the pictures on TV and in the papers of the man who carried out the attack, I recognized him as the man who used to live next door. I would see him quite often, but it would just be a hello and a how are you." He had a young child, who I think was about 5 or 6 years old. There was a woman living there with him, an Asian woman. He seemed to be quite nice, he would be taking care of his garden and the weeds. The Independent reported a similar picture. Shocked residents in Winson Green described a man who had appeared the perfect suburban neighbour. He washed his car, mowed his lawn, said Kieran Molloy, 27, a mailing machine engineer who lived overlooking Masood's new built house. He was quite friendly, polite in every interaction. The vampire. A nice man who wants a discount. The Mirror reports that neighbors nicknamed him the Vampire because he would frequently go out at night dressed in black. According to The Sun, he stayed at a 5-9 a night hotel in Brighton on Tuesday night, telling staff before he left on the day of the attack that London isn't what it used to be. Masood checked in at the Preston Park guest house on Friday night and then again on Tuesday night. A source said, on both occasions he was asking for a cheaper rate. You would have thought if you were hell-bent on committing a terror attack you'd chuck it all on a credit card and forget the cost. Staff liked him so much they even wrote "nice man" on his computer booking. The Hyundai 4X4 car he used to mow down pedestrians on Westminster Bridge was rented from Enterprise in Birmingham, according to reports. How the attack on Parliament unfolded. At about 2:40 p.m. GMT on Wednesday, an assailant drove a 4X4 car along Westminster Bridge crowded with tourists and hit many pedestrians. The driver then crashed the vehicle into railings near the Houses of Parliament before entering the grounds and fatally stabbing Palmer. The BBC and Sky reported that the man, now identified as Masood, was shot dead by Defence Secretary Michael Fallon's security guard. A plainclothed officer was pictured standing over the attacker with his gun. The attacker was stripped and searched, presumably for explosives, before being loaded into an ambulance. He died from his gunshot wounds.